Hello, good morning, my dear students. How are you today? May Allah bless you all. Today, let's move to chapter 2, a party for Senator Julius. We said before that Rupert and Lucy used the time travel phone to travel back to London in the year of 130. And they found themselves in a stone floor room, and there was someone or a boy yelling at them and saying, "Who are you?" In chapter 2, Robert and Lucy turned around. There was a boy staring at them, looking strangely at them. And he was a year younger than Lucy and Robert. Let's describe this boy. This boy had very short, dark hair, and he wore long brown tunic down to his knees. Tunic, it's a cloth that the Romans wore at the time. So the children looked at him and they thought that he liked the Roman children in the phone. The boy said, "Who are you?" And Robert said that I'm Rupert and this is my cousin Lucy. The boy was staring at them because they wore a strange clothes. Okay, and he strangely didn't know how Lucy and Robert get into his room. Lucy said that they had come from the future. It's so strangely how they came from the future. And Lucy showed the time travel phone, and she said that their granddad invented those time travel phone to travel through the time. What a strange invention. So the boy here stepped closer. He stared at the children for a moment, and he stared at the time travel phone. Then he welcomed them, and he said that it was very nice to see you. And Lucy and Robert were so amazed. They said that they would stay for a while or for a little to learn more about the city. Here, Marx is the boy who was staring at them. Marx wanted to introduce Robert and Lucy to his father, Magnus Andronicus. So he took some tonics to them. Okay, the children put on the tonics and they went into large room at the front of the house to introduce to Marx's father, whose name is Magnus Andronicus. At the time, Magnus Andronicus was busy reading at his study room, and he was holding long scroll of paper. Scroll, it's a long piece of paper, and Magnus Andronicus was reading at the time. Magnus showed that he read some messages from the Senator Julius about the party that he had to make for the senator tonight. Then Marcus introduced Robert and Lucy to his father. He showed the time travel phone and he told him about the story of Lucy and Robert. At the time, Magnus was amazed. He stared at the time travel phone and he said, what wonderful inventions." he said that he was so interested in science and he really wanted to meet Lucy and Robert's grandfather because he thought that the grandfather, Lucy and Robert's grandfather, would be very interesting man to talk. Then Lucy said, "What is senator and who is Senator Julius?" Marx said that senators are rich people who meet at the Senate House in Rome to talk about important things and make laws. Marx said that his father was a rich merchant and Julius, the senator Julius, was an important senator, and his father would make a party tonight in honor of Senator Julius, and this party would be a brilliant one. Marx here wanted to collect the little bronze bust that he had made for Julius, and he suggested to the children that they could come with him to the bronzesmith workshop that were in the next street. Bronzesmith means the person or the someone who makes and repairs things made of bronze. Okay, so they went to the workshop. Rupert and Lucy looked around as they walked, and they found Rome was hot and dusty city, and there were lot of people and animals everywhere. The street was so busy and so noisy. The workshop also was so busy. They entered into a studio. The studio was bright, sunny room, and they found the little bronze bust there, and the bronze bust was on a small table. The bronze sparkled in bright light, and it was magnificent. Here you can see this is the bronzesmith workshop here, or this is the studio. Here you can see the bronze bust and the children, Magnus and the bronzesmith. Okay. Magnus Andronicus expressed his admiration with the perfection of the bronze bust, and the children said that it was so lovely. Magnus Andronicus carried the bronze bust carefully to the home, and he put it on a pedestal in the hall. Pedestal means a place or a base for a statue. We can put the statue on it. Okay, so all the guests could admire it as they came in. In the party started. Then Mark's aunt and uncle came. There was a pretty girl with long dark hair. She had big brown eyes and even a bigger smile. She was Camilla. Camilla is Mark's cousin. And Marx introduced Camilla to Lucy and Robert, and he said that they were good friends and they were cousins like Lucy and Robert. He didn't tell her about Lucy and Robert, and they were time traveler because he didn't want to frighten her. Then in the party, Senator Julius arrived. Magnus went to meet him and he showed him the bronze bust. Julius, the Senator Julius, was so delighted, so happy, and he thanked Mark's father because this bronze bust was the best bust he had ever seen. In that party, Marx explained that his father didn't allow the children to stay at the party, so he took up the children the stone staircase, and they sat on the upper floor and watched the party below. Here you can see the party. There were lots of people, and there was the bronze bust here on the pedestal here, and the children here, you can see the children here upstairs. They looked at the party from there. In the party we can see large silver trays full of most delicious food, and the slaves everywhere served the masters and the people in the party. Marx pointed to a slave and he introduced the slave, and he said that this was Silvius. He pointing to a slave who was standing near the bust on the pedestal, and he said that Silvius was my father's best slave. The children here watched as Silvius looked at the bronze bust very carefully, and they thought that Silvius was admiring the bronze bust. After that, the noise and the heat from the party below, and this made the children feel sleepy. So soon all 4 children were fast asleep. Now we have finished chapter 1. Let's move to the story booklet. Let's discuss some questions in the story booklet. Question number 1. Did Magnus believe the children? And why did he want to meet their grandfather? Yes, he did. Yes, he believed the children, and he wanted to meet their grandfather because he was very interested in science, and he thought that granddad was a very interesting man to meet and to talk with him. Question number 2. What happened when Senator Julius arrived at the party? Magnus Andronicus went to meet him, and he showed him the bronze bust. Julius was so delighted and so happy with it, and he thanked Mark's father, Magnus Andronicus, and said it was the best bust he had ever seen. Question number 3. Did the children attend the party, and why? No, they didn't attend it because Mark's father didn't allow the children at the party, so Marx took the children up the stone stair, and they watched the party from there. Let's move to the comment. What wonderful inventions! I'm very interested in science. Who said this? To whom? And where? What wonderful inventions! I'm very interested in science. Who said this? Magnus Andronicus, Mark's father, said this to Robert and Lucy, were in a large room in his study in front of the house when he saw their time travel phone. Okay, he was so amazed when he saw the time travel phone. This was a great invention according to him. Okay, we have finished today. and thank you for watching us. Goodbye.